Welcome back, everyone.
Hello, everybody watching. Thank you for being here. And if you're watching later, welcome as well.
We are going to be covering episode 10 of the 4th season of Wynonna Earp. My name is Amber Plaster, and you're watching my YouTube channel, and you can find all of the replays here. Kari, thanks for joining us.
Yes, glad to be here. Make sure to give video a thumbs up and click that subscribe button, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
We only got 2 more to go after this, so that's crazy. And y'all want to be on the know when these happen and these go down.
I can't believe there's only going to be 2 more.
I know. I'm like, wait, what?
I can, but my heart isn't ready.
Oh yeah, we have a live chat going on, so welcome everybody who's watching live chat. And if you're watching it later, please comment down below. Aurora, I am anxious and afraid of what is to come in the last 2 episodes. Good point, because there's a lot going on that I'm based on. And if you missed it, go look at last week's episode. We had the one and only Doc Holliday in the house. So he was talking a little bit about what we are to expect. And based on that and kind of where we're going, I'm thinking we're kind of going with my prediction of a main chunk of whatever is a problem will probably be wrapped up, but it will kind of be and the adventure continues vibe. It won't necessarily be everything's perfectly taken care of, is my guess.
I would like to see everything wrapped up. Fingers crossed. But I loved last week's episode. Unfortunately, we got a lot of characters back. I almost tweeted like, Jolene!
But it's like, wait, spoilers, not yet. But now it's been a couple days now, so yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're allowed to talk about it here.
Yes.
This is the place we're supposed to talk about it. But Jolene is back, and then she wasn't.
I'll be honest, I was not thrilled with this character coming back. I love the actress. As a villain, it feels so shallow of the motivation to me. And I'm curious if anybody else there's plenty of villains we all love and we hate and everything like that. So let me know your thoughts on Jolene. But for me, I just felt, I'm like, oh, she's back. And it's just you person who didn't even directly know what they were doing. You ruined my life, so I'm not taking any agency over anything that happened to me. And so I hate you. And I want to destroy you. I'm like, I'm just like, no.
Okay, but I get that.
Okay.
Please go on. Such a good villain, though. She's such a good villain. Like, I feel like they just invented her to come back just because they wanted to have the actress back on the show, and I'm fine with it. And at least she didn't continue going on being a thing so that we don't have to deal with her next episode.
Yeah.
You know, I don't really get why she was obsessed with Waverly, but here's the thing. She's been in that fog for like forever. So
yeah, that's fair that we can attribute more of her unhingedness is to being in that space.
I think she would attack anything that came into that cabin.
This is true.
So that's how I feel about Jolene. But yes, I was so excited when she showed back up because I definitely was not expecting it. Don't love the dying and coming back to life, but at least they, the soap opera of
surprise
really bad, is unfortunate, but at least she did explain it away with, well, when Bullshart died, his vines released me. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay,
sure.
So you're completely healthy now?
I don't know if completely, but all right. Stacy in the chat says, I love that Jolene was back. She's a great villain in my opinion. Which totally cool. It's one of those things, if I think plenty of villains on whatever books, movies, shows, plenty of people can love them or hate them. All opinions are valid, everybody. And that's in no way to anybody who said anything yet. But on Aurora says, the way Dom and Zoe play off each other is epic. Yes, I do really appreciate that they are like, their chemistry as actors is really great. And I think that, again, the actress I love is just more just the character itself. And Aurora added, aren't Jolene and Waverly twins? I think, as I recall, and if please people leave comments what you thought. They're more like energy twins with like the birth of Waverly, and then she was at the same time. Like, they're not biologically. I just felt like their energy was more at the same time.
How were they formed at the same time?
No, it's just like coincidentally, like her goodness happening took so much goodness but that's what I mean. The logic behind Jolene's anger at Waverly is really like weirdly misplaced. It's like, Waverly didn't actively go, you know what? I'm going to mess up this lady's life. So that's where I'm a little lost.
Yes. I mean, I feel like that was clear to everyone. It was like, Waverly is so, it's interesting. They even put her like in this cute little sundress, this little damsel. And I was like, wow, they're really kind of drawing attention to the fact that Waverly's always the innocent one. And then the end of the episode.
Yes.
I am here for Dark Waverly.
Yes.
I'm here for it.
I just was a little bit confused, or at least like, okay, that's a little bit of a stretch of, okay, she's an angel. But then the idea that all demons are fallen angels, I'm like, well, I feel that's a little bit of a stretch, but okay. If we're going to go with, if that's the mythos of the show, sure. I do like the idea that Jolene really pushed Waverly in the sense of, hey, you're not maximizing your powers. And then Waverly's like, well, I can't control them. And I'm just sitting here going, girl, if you don't exercise those powers, work that muscle, you won't know how to use it. So I'm on board with Jolene there of like, you need to practice. You need to use it, embrace it. Yeah.
Okay. I see that. Also, I mean, I think the idea of the original fallen angel, Satan, it works, but I think then he can create other demons. So I don't think that all demons are fallen angels, but
yeah, that's why it's weird.
Manipulation tactic. But the acting, oh my God, they were like nose to nose. Their faces were so close together. I was like, they must have just let this Jolene actress go nuts on Waverly because she was all up in her business. Just wild. It was really tense and it was really good. And I'm very happy with the way this episode was directed. And
shout out to Jem Garrard, who directed this one and last week. So yes.
Yeah, the difference was real. The difference was it so much more, it packed more of a punch, and it felt very personal. Just everything was
the tone was like intense.
Yeah. Which I liked. They said yes, the acting was good. So Jolene, let's talk a little bit more about Jolene before we move on. Jolene wanted Waverly to come out and show her powers, but she also kind of wanted to screw with someone. She also wanted to torture someone, probably. And then what's his name? The other revenant, the stoner revenant, for lack of a better word. What's his name? He came in.
Is it Casey? I'm like, Casey came to mind, but
so Casey and Nicole came in.
Yes.
And Jolene was like, I'm going to kill these people too. Great. I think that had Waverly not been pushed that hard in that instance, her angelic wings, her black swan moment, if you will, wouldn't have happened as violently as it did had Waverly been practicing. I don't think so. I don't think it would be this situation because we met her father.
It's unfortunate because like I just covered American Gods. If anybody's a fan of that show, go check that out over at my channel. And they have a character in that who's half god and finally gets around to semi-practicing their powers because there are situations where those powers would help you. So I really wanted Waverly to practice more. And I agree. If she had been practicing with her powers more, I feel that transition and full embracing of her angelic nature would have been far less violent and so harsh on her to come to that realization. And also parallel show, if anybody's a fan of Lucifer, that's also a really fun show. He goes through phases, spoilers, but not really, of different wings too. So I'd be curious if Waverly has that kind of possibility of just
different wings. I like that.
Mm-hmm. So it's like, can her wings, even if they're black now, not necessarily indicate pure darkness, or can there be shifts? I liked the slicked back look.
They're gray.
Oh, they're grayish. Aha. Okay, well then there we go. Really is that
like she is now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, her face changed all crazy, which I didn't love that it was still changed after she came after Wynonna. But it's interesting what she said to Wynonna, your time is over.
Yeah, I want to know the motivation of this entity, essentially, because it's not really Waverly at this point, that you're like, who's in control, who's steering right now, and what do they want?
Yeah.
Thank you, Kenzie. We got I think we have preconceived notions about angels and demons. This is true. Whatever your background and knowledge of whatever you bring to the table, it will affect what you think of that. But everyone has angels and demons, no matter how angelic, and that's what they choose is what defines people. Yeah, I definitely think so many cultures and religions themselves have different views on angels, even different media. So it's really, I think it's cool to see how whatever wants to depict that angelicness. So I'm curious to see where it goes. I hope she can fly. I'm like, can you fly, or are they just decorative? Ooh, or use them as a wing.
I think due to budgets, they're just decorative.
This is true.
But also, I guess that would be the real answer.
Or can she use the wings to fight? Because that's also in some stuff where like they can use the wing as like to push, or as like almost a blade. So I'm like, we'll see.
That'd be cool too.
Yeah.
I also let's see. I have yes. Peacemaker goes missing at the top of the episode, and we find Wynonna in a little bit of an intervention.
Which she always seems to lose it.
She does, but to be fair, this time someone did take it from her.
Yes. Yeah, that was the. I mean, I think they were totally fair to do their intervention. I think they did it as delicately as they could with as much love. I mean, I've never been part of an intervention, so I don't really know like the better or worse ways to do it. But I felt as a viewer, this felt the most like, hey, we love you and we need to talk to you, and trying, but you know, Wynonna being Wynonna is like, nope, peace, I'm out.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like she had a little bit of realization with it. And the fact that she kind of didn't force Waverly to give her the gun was very good, because I thought that for sure she would have just gotten into a fight, taking the gun and run. But I'm glad Waverly took the gun with her. At first I was mad. I was like, why do you have Peacemaker with you in your bag? Now it's in the wrong hands. But I think I would have been more upset if she had left it unattended. So, gosh, I don't know. It's just a mess. It's just a mess, Wynonna.
Well, also it goes through the different phases of how Waverly can touch it and it doesn't do anything to when it burns her. So,
yeah. Well, she had recently activated her sort of, other state. So I get it. But she's definitely been able to hold Peacemaker before.
Yeah. And as she pointed out, it did it one time for her of lighting up. So
yeah,
she wasn't totally off base to think, maybe I could try.
Yeah. When did it light up for her last?
I think it was a while ago that I appreciated the reminder in the script to be like, it happened one time. I was like, oh, cool. Thank you. It's been a while. Especially because it's one of those, if you're not binging this show, you go, how long ago was that? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then yes, Aurora points out now Peacemaker is still in the cabin somewhere. True. In the fog, too.
Is the cabin still in the fog? I think it's clearing up. because of
it moves a lot.
It moves a lot. Yeah.
So it's
she shot Rosita when Wynonna was giving birth. Whoa.
Aha.
Thank you. So she killed another revenant with the gun.
Back in season 2. Okay, that was wild. Yeah, that's wild.
Thank you, Aurora.
And thank you, Sydney.
Wow. So it was a desperate situation, but I really hope they do. Wynonna yelled at Peacemaker to work for Waverly. Oh, that's actually probably has a lot to do with it because of the power of the situation of giving birth. And also Waverly sort of holding space for her sister because her sister's body was giving birth. And otherwise occupied.
Yeah, it's a little busy.
So it's cool. Man, this show has never made me more attached to a weapon.
An inanimate object. Well, kind of alive though. It has an essence.
That's true.
It's not totally inactive. Yeah.
Let's see. Do we cover all of?
I was gonna say a character coming back. We actually just kind of talked about her, and then she popped back in, a certain Mercedes. That was fun.
I wanted to tweet like, Jolene, oh my God, Mercedes. Oh.
Yeah.
And I was like, I probably shouldn't tweet anything.
And it's funny because we were all just talking about like, where is Mercedes during all this? She works at the club, and that's smart writing where you, the viewer, goes, hey, where is this person? This is where they were. And then she goes, by the way, I was at the club about to do this, and then this happened. We're like, cool, thank you. We were wondering, and I don't know. I don't think she's dead. I feel she's a little more resilient than that. Do you think she's dead? She got shot right in the middle, so like right in that torso.
I hope she's not dead, but I also think that we won't have to come back there too much because stuff is going down, people are freaking out, and I think she's just, her body's like left in a hallway or something near that jail cell, right?
Yeah, I'm
Black Badge stayed around to clean up her mess.
I think they just wouldn't care because they're getting out of there. I think this is going to be one of those. Sorry,
they're getting out.
Yeah, I think this is going to be one of those things that we're not going to see her body after this point, but it's vague enough that maybe she got away because I feel she's gone through all kinds of situations and survived. So maybe. Because they only 2 episodes left, they might not say anything about her. Oh, okay. Well, Sydney points out, well, she's still alive. I saw a sneak peek for next episode. Well, then there you go.
Like we said, she is quite resilient. As
Aurora. I like this. I've seen some fans wondering if Kat turned Mercedes. Oh. And then some other stuff at the back end of the next time. I think I skipped the next time. I'm like, surprise me. Well, that's actually a great question. Amber, do you like seeing the what happens next time, or do you like to be surprised? Or does it depend?
It depends. For the most part, I like to be surprised. Because I feel like I'm going to watch the show no matter what. So I don't like to see teasers unless I can see the whole thing. But also just kind of like, I don't like gambling. I'd rather go shopping. Like I'd rather know I'm about to have it than like be like, maybe, like I don't like. I love
that. That's a great metaphor comparison. It's like, yeah, I think it definitely depends. I kind of like season previews on the first episode, like this is what's to come, but they're generally so abstract of moments that you're like, all right, cool, whatever. Sometimes I like it because then it's like, oh, cool, what's gonna happen? But then sometimes I'm like, yeah, I don't. I'm gonna watch it. We're gonna watch it anyway. So
I'm trying to think of a particular show where I would need a next on this episode, and the only thing I can really ever think of are Game of Thrones, because I read the book and I want to see. I want to see, like, are they doing the thing I think that I know the direction's going to go in, or are they going to do something cool and creative and continue to expand this world they've created that I have not read about? Either way is fine with me because I've accepted that they're going to be different. But other than that, I don't really like previews. No.
That's a good point.
Yeah. And then
leave your comments down below, your thoughts on previews. I know we're talking about it in the live chat, but let us know.
Yeah. I love the idea of Kate turning Mercedes, especially referencing Kate's rack.
Yeah.
episode. It just was so smart and so snappy. Just sometimes they just get it right, you know?
Yeah. Also, because we haven't seen where she is now, essentially, that it's like, hello. Yeah.
I hope we get to see Kate again. That'd be cool. I love the fact that we brought up her name. It almost makes me hopeful that we will see her again.
Yes. Even if it's a short bit, be nice. Like, can we get all the rest of the cameos of people we've been missing these last couple to make it all taken care of? And then, yes, I agree with Aurora. I want it because I miss Kate. Me too.
I would not at all mind a Kate and a Bobo returning for no logical reason whatsoever.
Just because we want it. Yes.
It doesn't have to make sense. It could be a flashback. It can be an alternate reality. They can be ghosts. I don't care.
Yeah. No, I was just thinking Sydney says Rosita, you know. I would be down. I miss Rosita as well. Like, that was another character that was so interesting. And it's like, and bye. And you're like, oh, where'd you go? Yeah.
Yeah.
Casket fan says, I want to see Kevin back. So we have a lot of fun ones. Yes. Who are other people you'd like to see back? Because it's like, we only got 2. So how many more can we cram into it?
Well, you know, Bobo was my favorite character of all time. So
that's so fun. Yes. Well, we get also a tiny bit of Jeremy in this jail cell and everything. I like Doc trying to break out and destroying the key card panel and everything was very funny. I do like the joke too of like, Jeremy, how good are your hacking skills?
Yeah. Where she's like, I have the key card, and they look at Doc like,
yeah, you did it. Mm-hmm. It's like,
didn't think that through, did you?
I think his growl is adorable because it almost had like a purr.
Really, really good. All I could think of is, I'm so glad I don't have to play a werewolf or vampire or anything like that, because you know how many takes they had to be like, okay, in this next scene, he rattles the jail cell and he howls. And I'm like, I mean, how do you pull that off? And other people are there watching. Oh my gosh. He pulls it off.
Yep. And it feels like I would almost giggle because I was like, it sounds so good. And it's like straight face. Well, the other thing too, actually, now that you mentioned that too, and we have the werewolf in the jail cell. What is this arc? Why do they need the food? And what does that entail? I'm wondering if it is a collection of creatures, and they want to get somehow. They think that's a way that they can get out of the fog safely. I don't know how they think they can get out of it safely, but maybe, and I'm not exactly sure. Maybe it's just they want to go somewhere. BBD wants to go somewhere, and they can't stay there because the fog is closing in. They think whatever they have can maybe get through it, but they want to take all their research, which includes people and monsters, and get out. But I don't think their plan is going to work.
I guess I didn't pick up on them being scared of the fog in particular. I just thought that they were trying to move their assets somewhere else because this area is just no longer very stable. And also there isn't any supply coming in for food. So it might just be a practical move.
Could be.
I found it interesting that more and more people keep talking about how, like, there's no food, there's no this, and I'm like,
coffee and other supplies. And I think the fog prevents anything from getting in and getting out. That's the problem.
Oh, jeez. Do we know what the fog is from?
Well, they said the theory that it came from the garden is a possibility. So that's the question of like, is Eve gonna come back? What's going on? Kenzie says maybe they're going to nuke it like New Mexico. Yeah, I think that was the other idea too, is they want to get out because they're just going to destroy the area because it's out of control. Ooh, Aurora has a great theory here. So the fog disappeared when Dark Waverly appeared in front of Wynonna. So is that a potential solution? Can Dark Waverly control the fog?
Well, maybe we would
get her wings and flap it away. No.
I think she's absolutely. I think more than one supernatural character on the show is able to get rid of the fog, and I don't know that we'll be able to figure out how in time. Certainly not on purpose. Waverly doesn't know what she's doing. I mean, she sounds confident because she's possessed or something right now, but she doesn't know what she's doing. She hasn't been practicing. And like you said, the fog moves, or she's controlling it. And even if she is controlling it, is she in control of herself?
And does she want to get rid of the fog? Does she want it to, like, I'm really curious on the motivations of who this entity is at this point. Because right now, it doesn't necessarily feel like Waverly potential unlocked. It feels more like a possession, like you said. I'm like
a little bit like when Doc got turned into a vampire. Like he was still himself, but he was really vampy for a little bit until he got his hunger under control. Like I feel like a new supernatural being is probably the most dangerous kind of supernatural being, and Waverly's it right now.
Yeah. So I'm curious to see where that goes.
Also, I'm referring to every prison from now on as a Barbie dream house. I love that line so much. God bless Wynonna. Also, I wrote down, I love Waverly's earrings that had the little, at the end, little lightning bolt. It was like really, really long episode before she got turned. And I was like,
forget it. Her lovely accessories.
Yeah. So I would love to see the fog get corralled. I also think it's interesting that gosh, what's his name? The revenant that has been able to get through the fog before. Casey. Thank you.
Well, Casey's dead.
Is he dead? Okay.
Because Rachel had a like burial-ish ceremony for him. Oh, well, okay, that's another thing we didn't quite get to. Like that was an interesting couple character development stuff. One, Rachel likes Wynonna so much. Teach me how to fight, which I am 100% on board with that. If you are in a space that's dangerous like this, you should know how to fight and defend yourself. So now be like Wynonna. That's maybe a little bit more of a stretch. But fighting-wise, yes, absolutely. But then Rachel gets to witness death, and I don't think she had seen she was in the zombie space, so it's not like she hasn't been around it. But I guess this was so sudden
for a long time, girl, with dead people and no hope, and she survived. She deserves to learn how to fight.
Yes. So I think also just Casey's death was just sudden and so out of nowhere for her that it was like, oh, and then it was sweet that she cared about, giving respect to the body and like, okay, we should have a burial and everything. And then asked Wynonna, so is this what you have to deal with all the time? And Wynonna's like, yes. Actually, side note on that too, sidebar, Jolene points out to Waverly, which who knows if she's telling the truth or not, that Wynonna's killed people as well as demons. Yeah. We know she has killed some, but I don't think it's as much as Jolene was implying.
No. Yeah. No. I mean, let's go all the way back to the pilot episode of Wynonna Earp. She's on a creepy train going into the Ghost River Triangle. She is already bus. She is already having problems with alcohol, having problems with her family, survived incredible child abuse, which we all forget about. And Rachel hasn't had the same traumas that Wynonna has. She's also very responsible because she had to be to survive the trauma that she went through. Also, she's been holding back because of her adopted lesbian mothers a little bit. Like she's like they're like, did you want to be gay? Because we would teach you all the albums. And she's like, no, I just, this, I was like, it's such a cute moment. But I don't think Rachel will be as reckless as Wynonna simply because their histories are very different. Wynonna has been the black sheep her entire life and has gone through a lot of crap that Rachel just hasn't had to deal with. And so Rachel was able to form a more responsible state of existence, I think. So I'm actually not scared for Rachel. We've seen how irresponsible she can be, but I would argue we've also seen mostly how responsible she can be because no one told her her freaking lover was in the basement the whole time. That's rude.
This is true. And also,
I'd go on a murder warpath if I was Rachel, but she didn't.
Nope. She just let him loose. Which, speaking to that, that was an interesting use of the demon to go and find Jolene and go in there.
I thought it was so good. At the moment where she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna take the witch," you know.
Mm-hmm.
And
so that was so sad. Sorry, Doc. Sorry, Jeremy. I'm taking that one.
Yeah. But I figured they would know why, right?
Yeah.
They'll
no, I don't think they understood what was going on. She didn't really have time to explain. I wish she had a bit more like, there's a lot more going on. I can't explain it right now. And then, yeah. So
I can't believe she wasn't able to negotiate 3 bodies out of Black Badge Division. But that's just me.
You know.
He was like, "You only get 1." I'm like, pfft. No! The world is ending. Negotiations are over. I get 3. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just, like, what do you care?
I think she was maybe a little stressed, so she wasn't trying to push as hard as she could have.
I guess.
She's like, okay.
You know, she was in a rush. Normally, she's a more convincing person.
Oh, okay. Oh, this is cute. Kenzie says, I loved when Casey made Wynonna a casserole of boxed mac and cheese covered with kimchi and weed. And it was a reference to Casey's actor being named Kimchi in Kim's Convenience. I thought that was very interesting. It's like, I made you a casserole. It's like it was covered in weed. And like, yeah.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So good. CR Royalty says, I thought she had more power than that. I think you're referring to Wynonna. And I agree. It was interesting that she couldn't.
I thought she had
command more authority.
More negotiating leverage.
Yeah.
Like, because of like what she said, she's like, I've done so much for you guys. And they seem to acknowledge that.
Whoever that guy was in charge now, he is definitely don't like him. Don't like that man energy. And I don't think he was letting anybody get anything they wanted.
No. I mean, well, the fact that Jeremy was in there and
the fact that they put him
undisturbed that he was treating a fellow employee with food.
Yeah.
Like, what? What if you need?
Yeah, it's like, what? No.
Information. Stop. Does anyone think?
No. No.
What is he doing in there? I hope they break out. Ooh, maybe Kate will come back and
break them out of jail. I like it.
Maybe
I guess Doc's not as
because she knew she would come back.
I thought maybe Doc could be stronger to like really break the bars.
I know, me too. I know, but I figured they would have shown that already if he was going to break out, if he was going to Hulk out. But
yeah,
I wonder. It was weird because she kept standing there like, I'm not going anywhere, and I'm like, shouldn't you hide with the guards approaching? And she made no point to.
That's true.
Go anywhere.
So like Mercedes you're saying like how she didn't try to. Yeah, the fact that she was not as concerned about them showing up does make you question if there's something else going on that we don't know about. So maybe she's
like, maybe her and she was a little extra confident, or I don't know.
Also, I could totally see Mercedes accepting the fate of being a vampire because she gets to stay forever young and beautiful.
Yeah,
I feel she'd be on board for that. She'd be like, sure, I'm gonna stay the same.
I do too. Listen. That's why people turn into vampires. It's a good deal.
Yeah.
All things considered, it's a pretty solid choice.
And you can figure out arrangements. Doc had an arrangement. They didn't have to go kill people for blood. So, you know.
Also, don't love that the two revenants came to try to kill Waverly earlier in the episode.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're just hungry. Get out of here.
There's no other people around. Come on.
Waverly? You
Yes.
thought you were going to take the Earp sister? Your friend's friend? That was your best plan, dude?
Yep.
Because you're hungry. Get out of here.
That did feel like a stretch.
Yeah.
Like, okay. That was a plot convenience.
Yeah. I wish it was maybe some revenants we haven't seen before, but that's...
Oh, yeah. But then Doc wouldn't have the interaction with them of like, hey, what are you doing? And like, this person's off limits.
That's true.
So maybe.
I appreciate Tim being on the show last week because he said, well, he's not in charge of the bar.
That's true.
He's just hanging out because he's not really welcome anywhere right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh. And then that made a better point for this week's past episode where he wasn't able to call them off because he's not the boss.
Mm-hmm.
He just kind of has authority naturally, but he's just hanging out with them.
Sydney mentions Beth. What about Beth breaking out of jail and see Beth come back? I'd be curious how is she gonna break them out of jail? That's another option. We have too many options on the plate. That's a bit, I don't know, of how are they gonna get out. Sorry, reading the chat here.
Beth is Mercedes' sister.
Okay.
But didn't she die? Like, die? I think she's dead. Or are they just saying they want her to come back?
Maybe.
I hope she come back. Okay, yeah. That's definitely Mercedes' younger sister.
Okay. Oh, actually, you know the one that I thought could be an interesting twist to break them out of jail is if Robin has more memory or something and is able to come downstairs and break them out.
I wish, but I don't think the actor's coming back.
Or that, yeah.
Because, like, I looked on the IMDb and he only has one episode.
Oh.
And I was like...
They got him another face?
Unless they're surprising us, which good on them, I don't think he's coming back.
Yeah.
You think Hot will break them out? That'd be cool. But
right, she's a little bit unaccounted for. She got spit out of the fog and she was going to meet up with Wynonna, and we haven't seen where she went after that point.
And we don't know where Black Badge is, so she could have stumbled upon there.
C Royalty says, I think Hot will break them out. I think that is that's a more logical, like, she's already there. We know where we know she's in town. So maybe once people, also, wouldn't they have to be broken out before the arc leaves? Because the idea is if they're food, that means at first I was like, oh, maybe they'd just be left behind. It's like, no, they are supply. So that means they have to get broken out before this final time limit is of like, we have to go. So.
Well, I assume if everything goes well that they'll get brought in along as food, but I think if they have an arc, a transportation bus or something, if you will. I don't know why. I don't really understand why the mist stops vehicles from getting in and out.
Mm-hmm. Stops the driver?
Because you could just wear a gas mask, no?
People are getting... Yeah, that's a good point.
You know? But...
it's like in WandaVision.
I haven't.
Don't go through. There's things with barriers and going through. We'll just say that.
Okay.
It's a good question. We'll see. We've had a lot of theories. Tell us your theories down below.
Yes.
We only have 2 more.
There's only 2 more.
Was there anything else we didn't get to that stood out to you?
I'm trying to think if there's any characters we didn't really cover. Nothing really happened crazy with Nedley this episode. No, you know what? We didn't even. Well, wait. We talked about trivia last week. Never mind.
Yes.
I caught up on 2 episodes at once. Is it clear? Okay. BBD were sending in the supply trucks.
But they haven't had supply trucks. So that means BBD's maybe stopped and like doesn't want to even bother.
I
don't know.
I love the idea of Robin breaking them out. It makes the most sense, but I don't think that's gonna happen.
Yeah, I was just trying to think of ways that you could do that without the actor being present, you know?
Yeah.
Like, got a text message. Here, we're broken. Yeah, we didn't see Nedley at all. Nicole was spit out of the fog. Oh, it was interesting that characters could be spit out of the fog. So it's not like they wandered through it. And I mean, Wynonna did. She had the moment where she was trying to like not breathe and stuff. Though at that point, I'm like, girl, take your jacket off and put your jacket over your face. You have clothing that you could utilize. It's Wynonna. She could take her top off and use that if that was her only fabric to not breathe it. But she gets out okay. It seemed like Nicole was more like projectile spit out of it. So she didn't have to deal with walking through the fog. So it feels like the fog's more sentient than we thought, maybe.
Maybe, or it just moves, and we didn't see what happened to Nicole and how that fight went down.
Mm-hmm.
So I assume that she got kicked out into the fog and just was like, "Wow, I see a clearing. I'm going to crawl towards it."
Yeah, and then we covered most people. Oh. Sue Royalty says, maybe fog is Eve. The reason she was spit out is because she's connected to it. Blue Storm says, I feel like something might happen with Freddy. Not that he will break them out, but he hasn't really had anything happen since his scene in 409, episode 9, maybe. Okay, and then Millie's pointing out the trailer. No, we haven't watched the trailer, so... the bit for the next bit. So points out maybe it's probably Nicole. So I guess that would be the answer that people want to watch the trailer because you need to know now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's fun theorizing and being super out there with our ideas of like, I don't know yet. And then we find out.
Oh man, I feel we watched the screeners on the screener site, so maybe that's why I didn't get the preview of it. But I also don't watch the previews regularly.
Also, if you watch it on Sci-Fi's website, the screener is the preview for next time is a separate video. So that's the other thing. If you're not watching it live TV, it might be separate. But yeah, I think that kind of covered everybody. Thank you so much, everybody who is joining in the live chat. Great theories and commentary. Thank you very much. And if you're watching it later, no, Millie says spoiler alert. Sorry, no worries. It's totally fine. It's one of those. It was something we already thought.
You didn't spoil it.
Yeah,
it's
okay. But yeah, if you're watching it later, comment down below your thoughts because yeah, we only have 2 more to go.
Well, I'm upset because I don't know how we're gonna have a wedding with
right at this point. Maybe she'll wear a black wedding dress.
We can't have her looking like that for her wedding photos. This is not what Waverly would want.
No, it's not.
You gotta fix her. But you know what? Probably Hot will kiss her and it'll all be magical.
I was just gonna say, I'm so glad you thought that. I was just thinking, like, maybe this is a case where a magical kiss will solve everything.
You know what? I think it's about time for something like a magical kiss to show up.
Well, the show's already talked about. We've talked about like that their connection is unique and special. Like they really have a connection to each other, and like love conquers all. Like maybe. So we can hope and dream.
They've been this centering figure of love in the show for several seasons now.
So we'll see. Oh, I think we're getting slow internet here. What if Blue Storm says, what if the satisfying ending is them announcing season 5 in the finale? I think that's a little bit of a stretch, but possibility. I was looking over it. Yes, so I think we're having a little bit of internet technical difficulties for Amber. But thank you, everybody. I think that kind of covers all of where we are at this point. And so we'll see for the final 2 episodes. And fingers crossed of how it ends. Yeah. So I think that kind of covers it. And yes, it looks like she got bumped out. I was like, my windows. Oh, I'm gonna move this a little bit. You guys are all seeing into my apartment. Hello. Yeah. Aurora says they probably can't announce anything until after the season ends. Yeah, that's true. Yes, we would all like to be hopeful and optimistic, you know, but we'll see. We got Sydney says Eva Waverly started the fire at the Black Badge. Okay. And then we got C Royalty says as long as we stay away from the word series finale. We'll see. It's a good question. And we're gonna look at other people in the comment here. Yes. Good point. Millie says, I've been in and out of the stream. Y'all talk about the fact that Waverly choosing her book, and that the cheerleader dance was too. Oh, the cheerleader song. I'm Write My Story. Yes, the lyrics. I love that. Like, I'm the one who can write my story. And that is a really good point that she chose the book herself. She chose her own book. I liked her logic too of the I will choose my own story. So makes sense. Because then again, it's less responsibility on someone else because you don't know if choosing their book would be a bad thing. So it's at least you're like self-contained. All right, so we're going to wrap things up here. Again, thank you everybody who watched. Make sure to give the video a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button. We'll be back for the next episodes next week. We shall see. I'm going to try to end this way, and hopefully this ends okay. Yeah, but again, thank you everybody so much for tuning in. Love you all. And then, yes, go follow Amber online. You can follow, she's at Amber Plaster. And you can follow me at Kari D. Lane, that's Karidlane. Also, Yael Tygiel and Alexis Torres. And so go check them out as well. So, all right, I'm going to try to end this. We'll see how it goes. All right, thanks for everybody tuning in, and see you next week. See ya.